Okay, here we go. I tried at least to warn you guys. Tomorrow's going to be one of the tougher ones we've had in quite some time. It's just a matter of, do you know, there's going to be three types of problems. All right, we're going to go through all three right now. All right, three types. All right, ready?
Yeah.
All right, right away. Take a point and make it into a polar point. Okay, take a point, make it into a polar point. I'm not going to have you go the opposite way. It's only going to be, here's x, y, make it into a polar point. Before I go over the process, if it's going to be a polar point, what does it have to look, think about what it has to look like at the end tomorrow. It's got to have what values? R value, which we're going to get in a minute. And it's also had to have a, which is an angle, and it better be in radians at the end. So that's what I need at the end of this problem. Take my XY coordinate, and I got to get an R somehow, and I got to get an angle somehow. Ready? Number one, by the way, I'm not going through all of these. Absolutely not. We got a lot to do still. -4, 4. You have to start by saying, what quadrant is my point in? -4, +4. Okay, so just plop a point. Detail doesn't matter in the second quadrant. Connect it to the origin. That is the R value. However long that line is, however long this line is your R value. How do I find it? It's going to end up being Pythagorean theorem. But to do Pythag, I need a right triangle.
Bow tie.
If you want to remember how to make it, do your bow tie. Here's what it's got to look like right here. There's your right triangle that you built. Whatever the point is, should tell you what the two side lengths are. And again, not a big fan of this one because you can't be wrong no matter what you say. But the x always goes on the x-axis, all right? The x coordinate. I know it's -4, but I always just leave them positive, please. Leave them positive. Less headaches at the end if you leave them positive. And the y coordinate is on the y-axis. That matters. You just can't plop them anywhere. You can't get this one wrong because they're both 4s. But when you get down to 5, 12, yeah, it matters where you put the 5 and the 12. Now do Pythagorean theorem. 4 squared plus 4 squared equals R squared. I am not going to have you break down or simplify the radical. All right? It's not going to happen. I got other things to worry about that you can do. So you can just leave this as square root of 32 for your R value. There's the R value. How do I get the angle? Inverse tangent. So to get theta, I do tangent inverse. And again, not the best of problems, but opposite over adjacent. Opposite side over adjacent side will get this angle right here. Got your calculator, make sure it's in degree mode, doesn't need to be anything else. Second tangent, 4 over 4, there it is. Ho, 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 ho. Problem.
So reference angle.
Don't worry about the radians yet. There's still a problem before the radians. You guys told me at the very beginning of this problem, what quadrant am I in? 45's not in quadrant 2, so that's not the angle I want.
So 180.
That is your reference angle, is 45.
180 minus 45.
So I need the angle in the second quadrant by doing 180 minus that angle. If I was in the first, I'm good. 45 is my angle, but I'm not. So it's going to be 135. But again, last thing we need to worry about, it's got to be radians. So what do I need to multiply by? Pi over 180. And again, I know some of you guys drive yourself nuts how to do this. You just simply get a fraction template up and put in 135 on the top, 180 on the bottom, and it'll reduce it for you. 3 pi over 4.
And then you just put it back in
All good?
Yes.
So here's my final answer. Radical 32, comma, 3 pi over 4. There's my final answer. We okay? You might have a problem tomorrow where all that work is not needed. Take a look at number 4. Let's take a look at number 4. I'm definitely going to have you do this sooner or later, but there might be another problem where you don't need to do anything other than know a few facts. Where's this point? 0, -5?
On the line.
Okay, down here, right?
Which means.
There's that. There should be no reason if it's on the line you doing tangent or Pythag. No reason. R value. That's the ready? The distance from the center to that point.
5. It doesn't have to be negative, right?
It better not be.
Okay.
5. That's the distance from the origin to that point is 5. And how about the angle?
270.
90, 180. But I'm not putting 270 in there. No, I'm not putting 270 in there. Why not? It's got to be a radian, right? It's got to be a radian. 270 times my pi over 180. Reduce it. So there might be a time tomorrow where, hey, I don't need to do all this Pythag. I think you'll just confuse yourself if you do, honestly. I don't even know where you're going to make your right triangle.
That's whenever there's a
All right, all good. That's the only thing I'm going to have you do with points tomorrow. All right, that's the only thing I'm going to have you do with points. The others involve equations. Anything before I move on? All right, next set of things you're going to have to do. So convert a point to polar. Convert an equation to polar. Okay, convert an equation to polar, which means at the end, R equals something without x's and y's. Okay, convert an equation to polar. R equals something without the x's and y's. All right, ready? I'm going to do 6 and 8 with you.
R cosine.
What have we been plugging in for x here all this unit? X equals R cosine theta. And yes, I will, if you're here tomorrow, I will give that to you. Right at the top of the test tomorrow, it says this, x equals R cosine theta. Plus
3 sine theta.
3, not sine theta, R sine theta. I'll give you that too. I'll give you that tomorrow on top of your page, that y equals R sine theta.
Are you giving me, like how there's like the 1, 2, 3 things you can do,
Nope,
multiply by R?
absolutely not.
Gotcha.
You're lucky we're getting this.
Multiply by R.
It's got to be R equals though. I'm not going to accept that. It's got to be R equals to be in polar form, true polar form.
Can you take out the 2? No, you can't.
No?
Oh, this is what we did yesterday, right?
Thank you. You can. They have R's on both sides, correct? Faked out. Yell it louder so I can hear you up there.
But I took it back. I didn't think I could.
Why not? Do they both have an R in them?
Yeah.
Okay, take it out. Now that, see how you had 2 R's and now you have 1. Perfect. When you take an R from the first one, what's left?
Oh, this isn't what we did yesterday.
2 cosine theta. Take an R from the next one, you end up with 3 sine theta. R is still not by itself.
Divide that whole thing.
Divide the whole thing out. Because it's being multiplied, I can move it over by division.
You get R equals 8 over 2. Oh. Is it 4 over?
R equals, don't be a hero. That's it.
Oh, you don't have to like.
No. Is it R equals?
Yeah.
Then you can stop. Okay? Once it's R equals, you can stop. So factor out an R. Anything before we get to 8? 8's a beast. Take a deep breath here. Here we go. But wouldn't put it on if you can't handle it. Ready? 5. R cosine. R cosine theta. Now, hey, what's being squared? The x or the 5x? Just the x. So the only thing I'm squaring is what I'm plugging in for it. I'm not squaring the 5 because only the x is being squared.
Can you put it behind the s?
I'm not there yet. Just let me write that I'm squaring it, and then I'll actually square it in the next step. Plus, what's being squared here? The y or the 5y? Just the y. So just square what you're plugging in. R sine theta squared. And what do you got on the right side?
3y.
I'm not leaving it y, though. 3r sine theta. That's just the substituting in. Whew. Anything right there before we start going algebra? All right, let's do it. So nothing's happening with the 5. 5, you remember how to use the squared here? You square both the r and the cosine, right? The r and the cosine. So 5r, r squared, and cosine squared theta. That's how I write it when I square it. Both get squared. Plus, nothing's happening with the 5. R squared, sine squared. Whew. And don't tell me you're not doing some hardcore math here. Some higher level here. All right, your next move. There you go. You got a little louder. Good. Not just r squared, but 5r. Right? They both have 5s and they both have r squareds. Take them out. 5r squared. Ooh, woohoo. What's left now?
1 squared.
Relax.
Are you gonna that equation? Oh. Wait.
Everyone all right with the factoring piece? Cosine squared plus sine squared?
1.
That's equal to 1. And yes, I will have that at the top of the quiz tomorrow.
What?
Cosine squared plus sine squared is equal to 1. I will put that at the top. You will have 4 substitutions at the top. You'll have x equals r cosine, y equals r sine, cosine squared plus sine squared equals 1, and you'll have x squared plus y squared equals r squared. There you go. Those are the 3 you'll have. 4 you'll have at the top. Oh, we're not even done yet. Okay, this is equal to 1. So I have 5r squared. But what did we say? It's got to be r equals, right? R equals all by itself. Think about every move we've made this unit. How can I get r by itself? What's up, Logan? Hey, how you been? I'm doing well too. Thanks for asking. Yeah. Divide by 5r. I'm gonna do one step at a time, just so everyone sees it. You're doing it. You are correct. You're kind of combining them. Can we divide both sides by the r first? Right, everyone, divide by r. Why don't I want to square root it? Is that going to get rid of the r on the other side? No, hot mess, right? So yes, just divide by r. Divide by r. Divide by r. All right, now what am I getting on the left side? 5r. And what about on the right side? 3 sine theta. And now I can divide by what? 5. Yes. Or you could, like Logan said, do it all in one step and divide by 5r. It's up to you. So divide by 5. So finally we got there. In polar form, it's r equals 3 sine theta over 5. Yes.
I know, like, we usually check this on, like, Desmos or whatever, on the quiz. Can you?
I have given you enough.
Okay. I was just wondering if there's a way of calculating this.
Well, let me have my.
Sorry. And I'll be honest, the only reason I'm not is because I'm going to allow it out for the third and final quiz of this unit coming up. So that's why.
So generous.
You'll get it eventually, just not tomorrow. Okay, all good. We're all convert a point over to polar. Convert an equation over to polar. Last thing I'm going to have you do, polar to rectangular, correct. Turn these into x's and y's for me. Okay, turn this into x's and y's for me. Anybody have a preference out of the 4 here?
The last.
10, really? Sure, 10.
Why?
Everyone ready for 10? Set your timer.
We should go over secant.
Set your timer for 10. Ready? First thing you look. Can you substitute right away? Can I do substitution right now? What's r cosine theta equal to?
That's not my fault.
I can't do any more there.
11, yeah.
You're giving us that, right?
I will, yes. Anybody remember what secant was? 1 over cosine.
I don't think so. So then it's 5 cosine theta.
No.
Shut up.
Okay, cleaning that up.
5 cosine theta.
Remember, this is over 1, so you can numerator times numerator and denominator times denominator. Okay, now let's actually go through all the different things we could do and see if it would help us or not.
Okay.
Substitute in right now,
No.
like I did for 10.
No.
No, there's nothing I can substitute in for. Square both sides.
No.
I just take a peek. Okay, I could plug in for that, but I don't know what the heck's going on over here, right? So I can't square. Can I multiply by r? Well, I get r squared here, but I don't know either what's going on over there.
Oh, do the thing, the last thing.
Oh, yeah.
Last one is cross multiply. Will that help me? Okay, hey, I know people don't see why it helps me. So ready? What do I get here? I get r cosine theta, which helps.
Wait, why did I write it like that?
And what do I get on the other side?
You get 5.
And that doesn't bother me because that's just a number.
It's just one of the other things you can do numbers. I don't know
What do we substitute in? X equals 5. Are we okay with the process of what I need to check before I get to substitute right away? Square both sides. Multiply both sides by R. Cross multiply.
Can you repeat that?
Substitute in right away. Square both sides. Multiply both sides by R. Cross multiply. And lucky for you guys, these 4 problems, you're going to have to do one of each. Okay? Each method is applied to one of these 4.
No.
Cut.
I don't know what I'm doing now.
Cut it.
You think I'm serious?
Anything else?
Can we do 12?
Like one plan.
Just for fun.
Okay, go through your process on 12. Substitute in right away. Will it help if I square both sides? Not on the right side. Will it help if I multiply both sides by R?
Yeah.
Because I'll get what? 3R cosine theta, which you can substitute X in.
R squared.
Right? Look, you're going to get 3R cosine theta.
Is the same thing as 3x. Wait, but what's R squared again?
X squared plus Y squared.
And then it's R cosine X.
All right, I'm going to leave it here.
3x.
You guys figure out where you want to go. Choose your own adventure.
How much time is here? 20 minutes.
We got plenty of time.
Wait, so from there, it would be, you would start with it, and then.
Substitute.
Oh, okay.
Okay, all the answers are up on Classroom if you want to check. You choose where you want to go here for the remainder of class, which is plenty of time left. All right, let's get going.